Spoken
I
name.
haven't thought about flying for a long time. I haven't dreamed of that moment when I was alone above the clouds for a long time. I've dreamed of waking up in a room surrounded in blue and green grass for more years than I could dream of remembering. I haven't walked back into the past or scratched on the doors of my origins, where it all came from, since I hung up that cape for the last time.
Return to Cape Town 10th Year Anniversary Edition is a revised version of Andy N's first poetry book. The book can be purchased from Amazon and it contains numerous additional material.
Spoken name.
You wake up one morning after not reading a book since your school days and you decide to be a writer. With no good or bad writing to compare against your own. You just know how to write and anyone who tells you otherwise is wrong. Hell, maybe they're jealous of your natural ability to craft the masterpiece. After all, most people need to learn through a combination of books, courses, critical feedback and workshops. Not you though. It's not their fault they don't realise your natural talent, but they soon will.
How to Write Wrong is the new book by Amanda Steele. The book, which is an interactive story, gives the reader multiple options throughout its story. The book can be purchased from Amazon.
Spoken
Thank
name.
you today for tuning in to Spoken Label. Spoken Label was originally set up at the beginning of 2016 and as of recording has over 200 sessions in our archive. Although the podcast can be heard on Anchor, iTunes, Apple, Spotify, YouTube and literally 10 or 11 other networks, the full archive can be found at Spoken Label, all one word, spokenlabel.bandcamp.com. On Bandcamp, it is set as pay what you want, so you are entitled, if you wish, you can download it or stream it for nothing. But if you throw me a couple of pennies my way, it is always eternally grateful to help me maintain the operating costs and future running costs of this podcast. Enjoy.
Spoken name.
Hi guys, it's Andy N, Spoken Label, back in the house, and it's been one of those days today already. So we've already had computer issues with this laptop today, so hopefully we'll get more for Spoken Label. Now, but we're back on Zoom again today, and we're with a dear friend of Spoken Label, Rosa. Now, we were talking on the first attempt of this, Rosa, weren't we? That we reckon we met about 5-6 years ago originally, didn't we? And it shocked us both before when we worked out that it's been 2 years since you did last Spoken Label session. And so, Rosa, introduce yourself to everybody. I'll let you take over. Tell them briefly who you are and where your creativity came from. And then we can backtrack from there, can't we?
Smashing. So my name's Rosa Wright. I am a poet, performer and professional weirdo based in Salford. Been living in Salford about 7 years now, but I've been performing since, well, I've done theatre, I've done poetry, I've done lots and lots of different things ever since I was a kid, lots of writing. But the poetry really took off when I was about 21, 22, when I started performing in York. And then it's just taken off since then. And as you know, alongside doing the poetry, I've done work for events. I'm just a character actor. You can sometimes see me dressed up in quite a lot of glitter at different events, festivals, things like that. So you'll see me popping up doing all sorts of bits and pieces, as well as some more traditional bits of acting and podcast stuff. So all sorts of things, which kind of comes under the poet, performer, and professional weirdo hat.
Brilliant. Now, it's hard to believe when we were talking before 2 years ago that the last time we talked, you just brought your show out, hadn't you? Love Calculator.
Indeed,
Now,
yeah, doing the Manchester Fringe.
Yeah. Should we backtrack, tell people what the Love Calculator was, first of all, if people want to rebook you for the show? I always leave rebooking if someone wants to give you an offer for it.
Yeah, so the Love Calculator was a collection of poems based on my romantic history. And there was enough in it for at least an hour and 10 minutes. So it was a potted version of my romantic history involving poems, songs on the ukulele. It was really interactive, very high energy show. I did it at Gulliver's and I did it at the King's Arms in Salford. And it was really, really cool, really good experience. It was the first time I'd done a solo show and put all my own material into something. And then I got nominated for Best Spoken Word at the Manchester Fringe, which was awesome. I was really chuffed with that. And yeah, so it was really, really good fun, really good experience. And you know, you were saying it's been like 2 years since we've spoken. It's amazing to see like how much material you can amass in what feels like quite a short time, but you actually realise, oh God, I've got enough to like put a show together. And it was such a great experience. It really made me feel like, oh yeah, I've landed. I am a poet. I've got a stamp. I've got a poster. I've got a show. This is the thing that I do.
Yeah, I think you do. When you do use like that, it's you realise, don't you? Look back at yourself 2 years on, thinking, "Wow, I could step. No matter what happens next, I can say I did that."
Yes, absolutely. And I did it all myself as well. I did all the posters myself. I mean, obviously, the Manchester Fringe is really supportive in terms of putting you in touch with the venues and things like that. But I did the posters, the promotion, the interviews, I wasn't quite the bouncer. I had a friend of mine taking money on the door, but I would have done that myself as well. And like,
well, dressed up as a bouncer, then ran off around the stage, basically. So the lights on as well.
Yeah, well, I could have got paid double for that. It's like doing 2 roles, isn't it? So, yeah,
exactly. Or if you're messing up the lights at the same time, you can 3 roles.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Exactly. Yeah.
By the way, of course, we're here to take talks beyond that, really, aren't we? And you were telling about, first of all, microphone, like you did a community theatre thing, didn't you, about Salford Dockers?
I did, yeah. And that was pretty much most of 2019 for me was doing that play. And we met up, because you were saying you and I met in possibly the October 2018 after the Fringe had kind of been. And then the December, I met up with everybody for the first time. We had our first pub meeting before we cracked on.
Wow.
And then we spent 6 quite intense months doing lots and lots of workshops, doing lots of script work, lots of rehearsals, to create this really incredible piece of community theatre called the Salford Docker, which was all about, surprise, surprise, the Salford Docks.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was exploring Salford's history. It was really good fun, because I don't know if you find this, Andy, being a poet, like it's quite a solitary thing. And I grew up doing theatre. I got an award in college for being in every single play that they'd done.
Wow.
Oh yeah. They gave out these things called the Golden Chickens, and I was the one who got it for being in every single thing. So I've done a lot of theatre. I did a lot of theatre in school, and you know, I did the Edinburgh Fringe when I was like 17. We did a play up there for a short run, which involved me being dressed up as a giant rabbit, naturally.
I expect nothing less of you, Rosa.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you another time about the balaclava and my underwear, but you know, the family's here.
Yeah, that'll turn the podcast 18 if you did that one.
So I was used to doing a lot of theatre and a lot of collaborative stuff, but then since starting doing poetry when I was like 21, 22, it's been quite a solitary, very solo thing, which was great. It was a real balm then, because it was just something totally different, and you don't have to rely on anyone. You can just work really quickly and just turn up and do stuff, which is a really different process. And then doing something so collaborative, because it wasn't just like a play, it was a community theatre piece, which involved lots of intense stuff. We did research days, we were down the Lowry making props. We were really a community as we made it as part of Salford Community Theatre. It was really nice to go back to it and have that experience of being part of a cast, being part of a team. It was really, really lovely to do. It was such a great experience, and I realised, I do miss this. I do miss like being with people. That's quite nice.
Yeah, you do, don't you? Like, since we've all been in lockdown for 6 months now, basically, you can't do those sort of, like you said, play things on Zoom. It's not the same effect at all. It's not.
No, it's not. We did do a little table read on Zoom, which was nice. It was nice to reconnect with everybody, and people did read out lines and things. But it is very different. The heart of it is in being together and creating that shared experience. And I mean, I am a people person. You know, I like my solitude. I like my limelight. You know, but I love
we all do, don't we? As writers, writers by natural. We like our space. But also like we do like the centre of attention to a degree as well.
Of course we do. You know, we We all do. We wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy like some aspect of holding a space and sharing our work. You know, that's a lovely part of it. And I do miss the poetry scene. That, you know, I was talking. Do you know Paul Jenkins?
I know Paul
Yeah,
very
you know
well.
Paul.
Yeah,
He's a good fella, isn't he? I was having a
oh
chat
yeah,
with him. I had a chat with him not
great
so long
guy.
ago. Oh, he's lovely. He's one of the nicest men I've ever met. He's such a nice man. He and I were talking about how poetry performance is quite a social thing, and I've really missed that because when I've got a performance, it drives me to write something new because I always want to bring something fresh. And it really hit home how much I miss being out and about. And I went to a socially distanced thing the other week.
Oh yes, you told me about that before. So yeah, to just digress and tell us about that then. How was that experience then? Your first live reading, probably what, in about 7 months then probably.
I felt like a person again. I felt alive. I felt really enlivened by the whole experience, and it's such a nice night. It was staying in the old Abbey Tap House.
Yeah.
So supportive, real safe space, really diverse, great range of people, great range of talent. They give you feedback. It's really warm. It's just, and it was just nice to see people and make eye contact with other people.
Oh God, yeah.
It really gave me life. It really lifted me. You know, the sort of, oh my God, am I going to die? Did I pick up anything? But I kept my mask on, anxiety after. And aside from that, really, really lovely. And it was not a night I've done before, and it was gorgeous. They've got fantastic poster art. They've just done a big campaign where they were releasing poems on posters all around Manchester. Really, just really nice. Really, really nice to do. So yeah, I did hit home how much I've missed it. Can't wait to get back on it.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of creative people like us and people in general on the climate the walls to a degree, aren't we? Because we just want to be performing again. And I don't think it'll be this year now, to be honest with you, but have to wait and see, don't we? So
yeah, I don't think it will. I mean, this one was a special ticketed event for World Poetry Day as well. And yeah, I just wonder when it's all going to come back. But I mean, we're at a time when they're going to look at shutting the pubs and stuff again. So who knows?
yeah, all should be revealed to that one. So
now,
in talking about yourself, anyway, we'll digress back to a nicer time anyway.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about last year then, because I know you did some bits and pieces last year, and I've had a crash today, so I've lost the list of what I was going to ask you about. But I do remember you telling me that you met Jerry Corbyn last year, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Yeah, so that came out of the Salford Dockers. We did the play. And the other good thing about it is you meet loads of people from the local area. You know, people from all over Manchester who got involved to be part of the Salford Docker. And you meet people, you get chatting, other opportunities pop up, and someone said, "Oh, you do a bit of emceeing, don't you?" And I went, yeah, I do, yeah. And they said, "Oh, we've got this thing, we've got this labour event, do you want to do it?" I went, "Yeah, all right then." I turned up and got to introduce Jeremy Corbyn on stage in Bolton, and I was like, "Oh, that was quite good."
Wow.
So that was quite an experience.
Oh, I met Ken Loach a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was fantastic when he was. Oh, really, like Corbyn, he's got that sort of person. There's something about him, you know what I mean? Even like you think people of that age, because Loach is like he's 85 or something, 86 now. Well, I met him about 3 years ago, and he's got the Corbyn's and they've got a fire in the belly. And you don't always see that people when you get much older, basically. I've never met Jerry Corbyn, but I can imagine I'll get on with him.
He was lovely. He's got a really good sense of humour. He cracked some really funny dad jokes, and he met every single person afterwards. He just seemed like a really nice man. But yeah, he was lovely, and yeah, they took everyone out for dinner, and he was just a very, very nice fella. He just seemed really warm and just thought he was all right. And it was all before the election happened, so there was a lot of optimism. And then and then after that they said, "Oh, will you do another one for us down at the Lowry?" And it was another like Labour Roots round table thing, you know, where they got people together from the community sharing ideas about what they wanted to see. Did another one, and I did a couple of poems there, and just introduced him. So that was really good fun. Really pleasant, really nice people. He was just a nice man. He just seemed all right, you know. And
cool. No, you were telling me off mic before, and I'm hoping I wrote that I can remember this right. But you've been doing some paid gigs for weddings or something as a poet, or was?
I was just about to break into the market as a paid poet, but no, like
Yeah.
I was just yeah. So speaking of Paul Jenkins again, I did a night called Waffle, and this was last year as well. And from the back of that, a couple of people booked me for a private party. That was brilliant. I did a party in somebody's garden. Those were the days, eh? Did a party in
Oh,
somebody's garden.
one of them. Don't remember them.
Well, I know. You know. So I did this brilliant party for an organisation called Nightwine, which was started by a midwife, and it's in Ramsbottom. And it was just like a group of mums getting together with newborn babies. And now all those newborn babies are 30, and like they've been friends, they've done stuff together.
Oh,
They're
wow.
out. It's it's incredible, really, really incredible. These people doing amazing things, and because they'd seen me at Waffle, they said, "Oh, we come do a poem. We're doing a 30th, and it's a surprise." And they commissioned me to do a poem as well. So I got the pleasure of my first commission and
Oi, hey.
it was lovely. It was so nice and such an honour to do. You know, to feel people like your work that much to say we do something for us, and did that. Went really well. Off the back of that, somebody there said, "Oh, we've got a wedding. Come have a chat with us about that and do another commission." Unfortunately, due to the pandemic and the lockdown, that's now been postponed till next year. All things being equal, well, it'll be on next year. But yeah, I'm supposed to be doing a wedding and things like that. And I was looking forward to that.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. That.
Yeah.
Like I've seen stand-up comics. I've seen bands and stuff do weddings and stuff. I've never seen a stand-up poet doing it. I thought,
You heard it here first, Andy.
Yeah.
We're here to tap into.
Yeah. Rosa Wright is a national wedding poet. So bear that in mind, everybody. Next year, book her in when things are safe. So I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it, definitely so.
Oh, yeah, no, we'll do a Zoom wedding as well. I promise I won't wear pyjamas.
Which I'm wearing today as well. So now you were telling me also, Rosa, I know you've been involved in, you've done a few bits and pieces last year, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I've got my list now, so you have to wing it now to let me tell me what you've been doing.
Well, I know I've slept since then. So I did the open mic at a couple of festivals. I did Butterfield, where I dressed up as a Glittersaurus Rex with a glittery dinosaur mask that I made.
Oh, fantastic.
And then I did Woman Fest at the open mic. And then what else did I do? I've got my list here as well. I did a comedy podcast. I was a voice actor in one then. Did Meraki Collective, which is a really great night in Manchester where they do poetry, they do spoken words, they do all sorts of stuff, and they do dance, and they do dance jams. It's incredible dancers. You know, it's always a good night at Meraki. And they do profit share as well, so any money that goes in goes straight back out to the artists as well. They've got fantastic cool. Did Flim Night upstairs in Gulliver's, and it was Con Air, and I did a poem all about Nicolas Cage.
Oh, well, that would have had Amanda foaming at the mouth. I know she likes him back then.
I love Nicolas Cage. I love Con Air. It's a really good film. In my house, Con Air's a Christmas movie.
Oh yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's a fantastic film. But what gets me was him, Steve Buscemi in it as a serial killer. Like, just absolutely, it's that sort of role where you take your time off. Oh, that makes sense. But Steve Buscemi as a massive, nasty serial killer.
Oh yeah, I think he's reported to have eaten somebody's brain in it, but he comes off as this really funny, sort of charismatic guy as well. It's like these wonderful bits in it, and like there's so many famous people in it as well. You know, you've got like John Cusack, Colin Meaney, Nick Cage, John Malkovich. You've got just so many people.
Yeah, and they're all just absolutely hamming it up. But that's why I find it an absolutely incredible film. I've not watched it for years. That film.
It's very good. It's very, very good. And as I say, because it's a Christmas film in our house, we like to get. For some reason, watching a film about planes in the desert at Christmas works for my family. You know, read into that what you want. I did a poem about a Christmassy sort of the night of Saint Nicholas. It was Nicolas Cage.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. That was my 2019 in a potted version.
Yeah, we're busy as ever now. I know in 2020 we've had lockdown, so we're going to talk about today, really. And we've had a bit of digression, as we always do. You had your debut collection.
Indeed, yeah.
Now, this, I'm presuming, was wrote over lockdown pretty well.
It was pretty much entirely new material. There was one maybe that I took off Facebook because during lockdown, I think particularly early on, it was such an intense period of grief, really. You know, everything had gone and it was such a shock. I put a few poems. I started putting a few poems on Facebook from 2019 anyway, just chucking the odd one up. But then they took on more of a, I just need to emotionally process and stuff and stuff like that. So there's maybe one of them from lockdown in the book, but otherwise it's pretty much entirely new material that I've written specifically for this collection. And yeah, I did a 6-week write your ebook course that dropped into my inbox during your creative voice. And if you Google it, you can get on the course again. And I know it's like I've been performing for years, I've done all this stuff, but I've never done a book. And through doing the course, it just gave me that little bit of structure, that little bit of a push to say, yeah, I've done it. And then I did it. And it's like, I've got a book now. I've got a book. You can buy it on Amazon. So, yeah.
I was, because like I said, we've known each other for years. I was kind of surprised you never bought a book out before, actually. But I think with sometimes you go in the theatre background like you've done, it's easier just to keep doing the shows all the time, isn't it? So that's why. So
pretty much, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I consider myself more of a performance poet, or and I've been listed as a spoken word artist. I did the Manchester Open just before lockdown in February at home, and I was a spoken word artist there. So I definitely see myself more in that front. But obviously, I put them down on paper somewhere first, and yeah, it just seemed. Looking back now, now I've done the book and how easy the process actually is. I'm just like, what was I doing? Why have I never read a book before? What's going on? But I'm just like, it's easy. It's so easy to do, and it was really satisfying. And I've loved it. I've loved the results of what's come out with the book, and writing the book itself was great fun. So
well, obviously, we haven't told people what the name of the book is yet, have we?
we have not. With a drum roll.
Dum, 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 dum.
So it's called For All My Mothers.
Now, where did the title come for this book then? So I didn't know the title of it.
Yeah, so it's from a misremembered quote from Buddha. As many great things tend to be. There's a quote in the book that's treat each living being as your beloved child, which talks about how important it is to love everybody that you're with and love everyone that you meet and honour them. But it's also, there's a quote I remember that was something about treat everybody in the world as your mother as well. Now that doesn't mean go and resent them and blame everything and go into therapy for all about it, but what I mean is these people are supporting you being alive on the planet in the same way that your mother would. So that guy in Starbucks is providing you nourishment, coffee, and it's very kind of him to turn up to work. So honour what he's done, honour the kindness that keeps you alive in the world, things like that. And it's also the idea that a mother, there are poems in there for my mum and my dad and things like that. But a mother can be anybody you've got that strong attachment to and that real life-giving thing, whether it's somebody who I felt has mothered me and nurtured me and looked after me, or whether it's somebody that I've helped look after, or I've got that mutual bond with where I also care for people too. And I think particularly in lockdown, I've really missed that.
Yeah,
really, really
I think we all have in some ways, haven't we? Like I said, there's a lot we've missed as people here, and I think lockdown has made artists, and you're a good example like I am. You look at your own mortality in a different way, haven't we? Really, so.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's done basically with the book. Yeah, I can imagine that.
Well, being a poet anyway, you do spend a lot of time going why and sort of the angst of it all sometimes.
Oh, yeah, but I think as you get more mature as an artist, and both as part of both of us, you get clever at hiding it.
Burying the angst, oh gosh, yeah.
But no, the angst is still there, but I think you just don't say hate when you're more mature. You look at why you're hating, and no, definitely. So that's great stuff. Now,
definitely,
Now, what plans do you have for the future then? If say when lockdown comes out, man, we get back into normal sense of normality in the next couple of months, do you have much plans you can reveal for 2021?
Well, watch this space because I am finding it difficult enough to make plans at the minute. But what I am finding is I'm making the most of opportunities that I do find. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was part of Plymouth Arts Weekend there, and a friend of mine, I did a poem and she helped put some footage together. She's a really talented videographer and she did this editing. She made it all look really beautiful, and we combined some footage that we both made and we submitted that to a film festival. Now, normally I wouldn't have anything to do with Plymouth, and I don't mean that as anything against Plymouth, but I'm not from Plymouth, I don't connect to it, but because of the online nature of everything, it does open up opportunities opportunities when you realise, oh, we can do a virtual film screening, or actually we can open things up. Now, we were Blue Rebels. They screened the poem under the title of Blue Rebels, along with some other films that were from outside of Plymouth, I think, primarily. But you realise that it does open up avenues where let's make the most of this online environment. Let's make the most of connecting with people. What alternative ways have we got of still creating things? I mean, even the book is an alternative way of creating for me. So who knows what's going to happen in 2021? Hopefully, some live stuff. Hopefully, get back to the weddings. Hopefully, get back to seeing people performing again. And at the same time, being open to these other opportunities, other art exhibitions which you can do at a distance, other things, other participatory events. So fingers crossed, it'll be quite an exciting year.
Yeah, I think in some ways, 2020 is a turning point for the arts anyhow, really, because it's going to make us all look at doing things in different ways. And I've done a number of readings all over the country now, and just sat in my armchair. It's been fantastic. And you've got talking to people, and it's interactions, and you can make contacts and friends through means you wouldn't necessarily be able to do otherwise.
Absolutely. I mean, well, when you and I were having a chat before we started, you were saying about Amanda doing stuff in America, and and you might do that. I don't know if she was doing that before lockdown anyway, but it definitely means that, well, there's no excuse not to now. Why can't we have a more international, more interconnected, more, just a broader thing where we can include more people, and that includes like disabled artists and things like that, where traditionally access has been more difficult. Now there's not the same access. Everybody can be involved as long as you've got a computer, obviously.
Agreed. Agreed. Because you know what I do at Ice in Stretford, local speaking. That's been like a live one in person. We've been doing it on Zoom for about 6 months now. When we get back to normality, the plan I think will be is to carry on doing it live on Zoom, whilst doing in person, to have both of them, because it's things like this have took off. It's made people realise it in different ways. Definitely that was good luck for you, definitely. So, if people want to find out more about you, where are they going?
So you've got a couple of options, and as I say, it's all been a development thing, because I've now got an Instagram. Never thought I'd get an Instagram, but I've got
Wow, you tell me you got Instagram. No, I never knew you go for that. You were the hip kids now.
Oh, I know. I've finally finally accepted that that's the next platform to go. So I've got Instagram, which is at Rosa Wright Performer. There's my website, which is rosawright.co.uk. And then my Facebook. My Facebook's the one I tend to update the most because it's the easiest to do, which is facebook.com/Rosa Wright Performer. So it's all kind of in that vein. So you can reach me on any of them. I have a Twitter that I barely use as well. If anybody wants to tweet me, you can. Which is, I think, again, at Rosa Wright Performer. But yeah, any of them, any and all of them, that's how to get in touch or find out a bit more about me. And there's lots and lots of pictures of me in a dinosaur glittery hat. If anybody wants to see.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's all our questions today. We're going to pause the recording, and I know you're going to do a few poems for us in the second half, aren't you? So
yeah. Okay.
Right. Hang around there, buddy. Rosa, straight up to Rosa. She's got a couple of poems for us today.
Take care, guys. You'll see you. Spoken, mate.
Thanks very much. So, just to put my plug in before I start, this is For All My Mothers. It's available on Amazon if you do want to purchase any of it. And here's a taste of some of it. This one's called Ma. Somewhere between Jean Harlow and Deirdre Barlow, you glow. British gas blue, Dole office grey, Argos red. You let me play in the brown wash basket as I row out to sea over socks and underwear. You humour me and let me use the yellow bowl for party food and popcorn to make a mess. You bring home rolls of printer paper. I pick the popped lines to strip the holy edges and then draw endlessly. Stiff felt tips licked, piercing and squeaking. But you draw the line at glitter glue on my tongue to make a MLB stud. I love you like water and sausage rolls. I love you like books, like blood.
Brilliant. No, yeah, that's really good piece of your book, then, definitely. So I can see my mark straight away. That's really evocative. Fantastic, Rosa.
Oh,
you caught me out. I thought you were going to do more than what you did there. I was just trying to find the pen to write this down. Brilliant. Okay.
Right.
How many more did you agree on you were going to do today? It's about 3 or 4, didn't we, in total?
You said 3 or 4, so I don't mind. I'll do a little one in this one then. So this one's called Therapy 2. Now, it might be not a surprise to many people. I'm a trainee psychotherapist as well. So again, the attachment stuff's quite important. Just a bit of background. Therapy 2. Motherly devotion doesn't always smell like cough syrup and chamomile lotion, but chamomile tea and a smile at stormy seas and eyes so pleased to see you, no matter who you decided to be. Come rain or shine, you're mine. Infernal maternal love keeps us fixed like glue. Is you is or is you isn't, doesn't matter. I'm mum to you.
Brilliant. Yeah, because I can see a bit more about it. That one, obviously, the Marpy showed one side of you as a person. This therapy one showed another side of it as well. And I think as writers, it's always good if you can show different sides of yourself when you're writing, instead of having one topic all the time. So fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Curly hair in absent tandem. His fingers linger over scissors, ringlets falling random, and he somehow never slips to snip the 6-inch fringe of his sleeves, no matter how wildly he weaves and spirals, like the texture of our hair.
Oh wow, brilliant! You know, it's like I'm used to one of them who used to do more performance stuff. By nature, performance are a bit longer, but these are proper, like, very but also quite short page poems as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. Well, people have found this to be a very different experience to me as a writer, which is quite interesting. I've had someone saying it's you, but it's not what I expect, and there is a real difference between the page and performance, isn't there? So
yeah, there is. And then one goes back and checks out your previous session for Spoken Label, hint, hint. You'll notice some of your earlier pieces were very different in tone, but it's good. Progression is good, as I would say. So
perhaps I'm maturing as an artist, darling. Perhaps,
yeah, I can argue doing that posh voice, you Don't Blame Us poem.
Oh God, yeah, Victorian people. Oh yeah. I did that at the Labour. They loved it at the Labour conference.
I bet they did. I know you did that one professionally. You sent me over for the last podcast. I remember it well. You sent it as a PS. That what you did. And I'm going to go and re-download that. Put that as a PS just to give people.
Oh yeah, that'll be. It's a different experience to my introspective lockdown stuff.
Yeah, I think people would be good to hear that one, definitely. So right.
Do you want more?
Yeah, just one more. We'll count it as the big finale.
Big finale. Oh gosh, right. I've got to think of what's going to be a good finale. Oh, I'll do you a little short one as a finale. I'll end on a bang. Okay. Mother's Day. From Mother Earth and my mother on earth, I receive the gifts of my heart, my mind, and eyes. In response to the too bright light of pain, I squeeze them all shut. Thank you for helping me to open them again.
Oh, that's really beautiful, Rose. Oh, I've seen a very sensitive side to you today.
Oh no, I know you've seen a more vulnerable, softer side. Oh.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, what's it like for you? Because you know me quite well, and is it a bit different then?
Very different. No, I've really enjoyed it. It's been lovely. It's always
thank
lovely.
you.
When you know somebody writer, I'm trying to tell you this generally now. When you see a writer that goes and you've not spoken to for a bit, like we haven't spoken for a bit, and do a session like this, and I think back to your previous session, it's a completely different. It's great. I think lockdown has done that to everybody. Now you think next time when you do a session, probably 2 years time, Rosa, you're probably doing a hip hop set for us next time, won't you?
Gosh, yeah. I'll be doing some bizarre sort of bongo beat, like who knows? I'll be a hologram by then. We'll all be holograms.
I think we're halfway there already, aren't we? So
I know, God, yeah.
I'm actually going on stage next year.
Really?
Doing my ambient music.
No, I didn't know you did ambient music.
Yeah, I've been doing it for years now. Yeah. I've got 2 albums out on the Belgian record label. One in November, one in December. Right. Beginning of next year, I've got just had it confirmed. I've got to write the blurb for this later. Another one in January, and I think it's a French record station want me to do a gig for them next February or March.
No, that's amazing.
I don't know how I'm going to do it because I'm not that good. I'm really good at what I'm doing, but it's all improvisation. I don't know.
You're a dark horse, Andy.
I'm quiet and shy. That's what it is, right?
Oh, right. Please send me the links for that. I love a bit of ambient.
Yeah. So I say link up afterwards on Mike. So brilliant.
Do you know what's funny though? Well, just
Yes,
before, you know what's funny? I started making a bit of music during lockdown as well. I started making very surreal bits of random comedy stuff. Yeah, that's really interesting. You dark horse, you.
Well, I'll have to share some links then, definitely. So,
yes, please.
Now,
yes,
watch
please.
your space. It could be possibly a collaboration on the way here, everybody. So, yeah, I love collaborating. So, we'll conclude this bit, Rosa. We're going to chat on for a bit anyway. So,
yeah.
Thank you again as always, my friend, and hopefully next time I see you, it'll be in person, not on Zoom. So.
Hopefully so. It's been an absolute pleasure, Andy. Thank you so much. And yeah, just cheers. It's always lovely to talk to you.
Oh, good indeed. Right, stay safe, guys and girls. See you all soon.
Yeah.
Spoken Label.
Don't blame us. We just sort the deserving from the undeserving poor. We just measure distances from ceilings down to floor. We tell them what's a bedroom, over 70 square feet. We just protect the interests of homeowners on their street. We tell those clods to move because they're under-occupying. We hear, oh, there's no houses, but we know they're all just lying. We know that they're just lazy and refuse to just make do, because if we can all find second homes, then surely so can you. And if they're unemployed, we just sort hard workers from the shirkers and the slobs. We'll just cut off their benefits if they won't accept our jobs. We all are middle class now, so we're protecting you and me. So we think it's only right that idle scum should work for free. They say it's the recession, that's why their life is on the skids. But we know they're irresponsible, and they have too many kids. We're helping them to help themselves with our fine workfare schemes. Because if you're really that poor, you can't afford hopes and dreams. And can I just say, we are not targeting the disabled or the genuinely ill. We just know if they can cheat the system, they definitely will. We know that they're just fraudsters who spend the day in bed. They even sleep in coffins and try to tell us that they're dead. The depressed, the anxious, they're just losers on the DOS. If we don't see a wheelchair, we just don't give a toss. We're not the nasty party anymore. In fact, we're quite soft touches. But we're all in this together, so please give back those crutches. And if you're old, in need of care, we give an honourable mention, while you give up your house and home and any kind of pension. But as I say, don't blame us. We sort bad apples from the barrel and work hard against the rot. We just protect us haves from those underhand have-nots, because have-nots will do anything. They'll steal, defraud and lie. They're not hungry, they're just greedy for a bigger piece of pie. There's no such thing as inequality, only failure to adapt. So say farewell to welfare and welcome 1% benefit caps. We're being cruel to be kind. We're being firm but fair. We're fixing broken Britain, which is in such disrepair. We're strengthening the NHS by introducing competition. We're giving doctors power because you can't trust politicians. And we had very good reason to increase tuition fees, because we know only rich kids are smart enough for university. And we deserve some recompense. This hard labour breaks our backs. So we splash out on expenses and avoid our income tax. But as I say, don't blame us. We just sort the scum from the real salt of the earth. We determine just how much or little a human life is worth.
Spoken Label.